Peace, family. I'm gonna do this video in memory of Rob Reiner. Him and his wife Michelle passed away in the most horrific manner. His own son is charged with unaliving his parents. His daughter discovered them. It was shocking when I heard it. I remember Rob Reiner watching them on All in the Family. You know, he was very liberal with his views on the show. Archie was very conservative. They used to go at it all the time. And over the years, I remember seeing him on CNN, I believe, or MSNBC. And I recognized him because of his signature beard. And I was like, oh, this is the guy that's from All in the Family. And listening to him, I said the same mannerisms that he had on this show is the same one he portrayed on this program. He was true to his character. And one of the true, I believe, good human beings on this planet. Even though I have my feelings about white people, Rob Reiner, I will give him a pass on that. You know, he was a wonderful director. He directed The Princess Diaries, When Harry Met Sally, Stand By Me, and I forgot that he did A Few Good Men and Misery. I would have never thought a guy like Rob Reiner would do a movie like that. But this just showed the vast array of talent this man had, telling all these different stories. This is a tragic loss, you know. But as usual, tragedy is overshadowed by stupidity. And Donald Trump decided to open his mouth and speak about the passing of Rob Reiner. And he said some of the most vile, disgusting things ever attributed to a situation like this. That's imaginable. You know, at a moment like this, if you don't have nothing to say, either appoint somebody else to say it, or just say nothing at all. To sit there and disparage this man and his wife, and the manner in which they exited out of this existence, being discovered by the daughter, mourned by family and friends, to sit there as President of the United States and tell the world that you didn't think highly of Rob Reiner. You thought that he was underrated as an actor, all because he didn't like you, Donald Trump. You know, like I said, you didn't have to say anything about this event. But by speaking in the manner in which you did, I know you disappointed your wife, your children. And when the reporter gave you an opportunity to take back what you said, not only did you not show any remorse or any regret for your words or the harmful intent that it must have felt on the child, you doubled down on it and repeated the same baseless allegations that Rob Reiner was suffering from some type of Donald Trump syndrome. But let's say that Rob Reiner did. He was delusional over the concern of a Donald Trump presidency. You know, Donald Trump, you could have alleviated these fears. And how's that? When you were president in 2020, you had 4 years off after your first term to think back and to recant the armchair quarterback, all the decisions that you made, the process in which you used to make them. And then you got another 4 years to come back a better president, a better person, a better process. And you came back absolutely worse than you were in your first term. You learned absolutely nothing. In your first 11 months of this administration, you didn't change the name of the Panama or the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. You done threatened to take the Panama Canal from the Panamanian people. You done threatened to take Greenland from the people of Denmark. You done launched military action into California, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Minnesota. And that's just to name a few. Not only that, the government shutdown, where you refused a court order from a judge to at least feed the poor and the children while you get the government back open again. You refused to do it. So if Rob Reiner did have some type of Donald Trump syndrome, overly concerned about a Donald Trump presidency, and they locked him up in an insane asylum, if the doctors were able to see what Donald Trump was doing in this first 11 months, they would immediately let Rob Reiner out with their deepest apologies and regrets. Like I say, Donald Trump, you had the opportunity to sit back for 4 years and watch and overlook every decision that you made. And when you got opportunity to get back in the White House, what did you do? You appointed the most incompetent staff in the history of existence. Pedophiles, people with sexual misconduct in their criminal record. You come back as a felon. You know, it's sad. You know, and it makes me think back, you know, when Ice-T did an interview, and he was talking about how shocked he was. He was like, Donald Trump got more of his friends locked up in jail than I do. And that's shocking. Coming from a gangster rapper, a drug dealer, an actor, Donald Trump, more of your friends in jail than Ice-T got. That's incredible. And Ice-T also said that the rules don't apply to the people who made them. And that too is true. Because see, when Charlie Kirk passed away through his assassination, J.D. Vance, your vice president, said that anybody speak ill of Charlie Kirk should lose their job. They should lose their job, their ability to provide for themselves, their family, to keep a roof over their head, just by speaking ill of Charlie Kirk. Here Rob Reiner and his wife were found unalive by their own daughter. And as that wasn't bad enough, Donald Trump, you sat there on national TV and told the world that you didn't think highly of this man. You pouring salt in the wound of this child and the people who love Rob Reiner. How on earth can you convince the American people that the same person that can do that is the same person that's going to be in the White House fighting on behalf of the American people? You know, the Bible said that you can't get sweet and bitter water from the same fountain. How does a person that do that be the same person to turn around and legislate on the behalf of uplifting and unifying this country? How did that happen? You know, like I said before, J.D. Vance said that if anybody speak ill of Charlie Kirk, should lose their job. Well, if that's how you feel about what they say about Charlie Kirk, then what happens when Donald Trump said what he said about Rob Reiner? Because I guarantee you one thing, a lot more people love Rob Reiner than they ever loved Charlie Kirk. I'm going to end this video here. And as always, these are my thoughts, my opinions. I invite you to leave yours in the comments. And I'll see you in my next video. Ashe.